Well, good evening, folks. Welcome to episode 21 of Dinner from the Dining Car. Here's what we're going to be making. It's a Southern Pacific's Roulade of Beef. Now that sounds really classy, but if you think about it, it's steak rolls. But this one has some very interesting ingredients in it. You basically take your steak. Now this is vacuum sealed, so it looks a little weird. But it'll flatten it out, and then we'll cut each section of beef into about a 6 or 7 inch long strip. We're using a Milanesa cut of beef. It's relatively thin. You don't have to hammer it out. You can just roll it up. What's interesting is what goes in these steak rolls. In each roll, we're going to have a strip of bacon. Again, vacuum sealed, which is why it may look funny. A part of a carrot, usually quartered. A dill pickle spear. And let me take them out of the bag. And a green onion in each roll. What you do with those is you're going to roll them and then brown them and then cook them in a sauce. You're going to make your sauce with a little bit of flour, a little bit of water, and some very finely diced tomato. You'll probably use, to make this sauce, 2 tomatoes. And you're going to need some salt and white pepper. Now, white pepper, one other thing that goes in these rolls, I forgot to mention it sitting here, because it's right next to me, is each roll gets a stalk of asparagus. Basically, you make these rolls, you brown them, and you're going to dice up your tomatoes. You're going to make a sauce with some flour, some water, white pepper, and finely diced tomatoes. You're going to make a sauce out of that, and then simmer these steak rolls that you make in that sauce after you brown them to make sure they're cooked completely. And you're going to brown those in butter. You're going to dredge them in flour and fry them in butter. A kitchen isn't a kitchen without butter. And then you're going to put those into a pan, just a cooking pan, a greased cooking pan, and you're going to braise those for a little bit, just, cook them a little bit. Anyway, that's everything you need for this. Did I miss anything? Asparagus, meat, asparagus, carrot, bacon, tomatoes, green onion, flour, pickle spears, white pepper, and butter. You're going to use a little salt too, but that's about it. Anyway, that's it for the intro here. And when we come back, we'll get to cooking. We'll see y'all then. Okay, folks, we've started already. I've already taken 5 steaks and rolled them up because it is kind of a painstaking process. We will show you that in just a second or two. Also, the recipe calls for bacon. Well, with everything else in here, you've got green onion, asparagus, carrot, and a pickle spear. Bacon we thought was a little unnecessary, so we left it out. If you want it, if you're a big fan of bacon and you have to have bacon in order to live, put your bacon in there. Anyway, like I said, I've got these 5 already made. Now we're going to make the last two, and here's how it goes. Let me have a green onion. You basically take your vegetables, a green onion, a piece of asparagus, a piece of carrot, and a pickle spear, and you literally roll it up on your steak. Again, these are the Milanesa cuts, so they're pretty nice little pieces of meat. Then, what did I do with my butcher's string?
That's good.
Sorry about that, folks. Had to stop the camera for a minute because I couldn't find where I put my butcher's twine. Anyway, once you have this thing rolled up, you're going to get in here with butcher's twine, and you're going to tie it off twice. Once close to each end of the roll, and you're going to knot this because you do not want these coming apart while they're cooking. You are going to end up wasting a little bit of your butcher's twine, but you're probably not going to use butcher's twine that often. Now, as far as the butcher's twine, the string you're going to use for tying these up, a lot of stores don't carry this, but if you go to a store that has a butcher, like for example here in California, Vaughn's, Pavilions, Ralph's, back in the East Coast it would be Safeway or Kroger. They have butchers, and these guys are nice. If you ask them, hey, can I have a bit of butcher's twine, they'll just cut you off a chunk and hand it to you, and you don't even have to pay for it. They were nice enough to give me today 8 feet. So, okay. I have my helper Judy here with me. Make sure your hands are washed, and between steaks you're going to want to take a nice hot damp rag. Okay, last one. No, let's roll it the other way. Let me add green onion, asparagus, carrot, pickle spear. While I have your attention, start preheating your oven to 325. Ooh, that's the butter melting. Kind of turn that down a little bit, will you? Thank you, Judy. My little helper. I couldn't do nothing without my little helper. Oh boy, and when I'm driving, my little helper really comes in handy.
You might want to do that butter over.
Why? Is it burning?
It's burned.
It burned?
Yes.
Ooh, that's our last.
That was our last stick of butter?
No, we have one more stick of butter.
Let me see if I can get that off of here. Let me let it cool for a few minutes.
Well, we just had our disaster with this video. Started the butter too early, and it burned. Fear not, for we have other options. If you don't have butter, you can use olive oil. Now, tying these, again, when you tie them, make sure these you're going to tie full knots, and you make sure they're tight, because now that these things are rolled, and let me bring them over to the camera so you can get a good look at them, then we have to, oh boy, these are heavy. Here's what they look like rolled up, folks. Just nice little steak rolls. Okay, with that, now comes the pre-browning them. We'll be back in just a second. All right, we are back. We have recovered from our butter disaster, and now comes the frying of those and getting them into the baking pan you're going to use. Your baking pan has got to be greased. Make sure you grease it with either non-stick cooking oil or shortening or whatever it is, we'll grease it. Here's what you need to do with the rolls. You need to season them with salt and white pepper. You're going to dredge those in the flour without dropping them on the floor. And then you're going to put those in the butter until they brown a little bit. Now, I added a little bit of olive oil into our butter to keep it from burning again. Over here, grab my tongs. Now, depending on your cut of meat, some of these might be really large. Some of them might be fairly small, but a little thicker. So it's kind of up to you.
Oh, okay.
The talking in the background is Judy on the phone. I don't know who she's on the phone with. You married guys will get this. Nobody tells me anything around here.
Okay, that sounds great. You should say what time.
Trying not to get flour all over Judy's nice clean stove, because our cleaning lady was here today, and if I make a mess on Judy's stove, I'm a dead man. Again, you married guys, you can relate to that. You're probably sitting there going, uh-huh.
Let me get him some cologne. That's a great idea. But then what will you get him? You're going to get him some cologne?
And as these little buggers brown, oh my goodness. Oh, people, you should see these. These are browning so beautifully. Let me bring the camera over here and show you. Just kind of lean the camera in and look at those pieces of meat, how beautifully brown they are.
Okay, that sounds great. I'll give him back up some cologne.
Anyway, oh, those
Yeah, that's
browning
a good
up
idea.
so gorgeous.
I don't mean to steal it from you. I'll get him some cologne.
And you just put these in your baking pan.
Okay, I will. I'll give you the credit.
Oh, these smell delicious already.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do the last two. Now, after you brown these, wow, you can't see my head.
Okay.
After you brown these,
Bye-bye.
you're going to take a little of this flour. Look at how beautiful. Oh, you just walked in front of the camera. You're in front of the camera.
I'm sorry.
We're on. These have browned up just gorgeous. Now you're going to brown these over medium heat. You don't want it too high because you don't want to burn the snot out of them. You just want to brown them. Try and get a nice even browning on these. They show came out purty. My spoon here in a minute. Okay, there it is, right in front of my face. That's why I couldn't see it. It was in front of my face. Oh, this is nice. That's gorgeous. All right, now that you have the steaks browned, you're going to grab a little of this flour, a few tablespoons, and you're going to put it in this pan and work it in to the butter to make kind of a roux. Turn your heat down to very low so you don't burn it. You're going to make like a paste. A little more. A little more flour. There you go. Yeah. That's perfect. Now, to that paste, you're going to add beef broth. You're going to add quite a bit of beef broth. May need to add more in a little bit. And you're going to let this kind of stir and thicken. And my little helpers over there cutting up the tomatoes. Oh my, that thickened a lot quicker than I expected. We need to add more beef broth. You're making kind of a homemade beef gravy to go on top of this. Really thickening. I may have to use this whole thing of beef broth. Now I've added quite a bit of beef broth, almost the entire quart, because we do not want this to solidify. We want it to be a gravy consistency. Now to this, if my little helper has done her job, we have some cut up tomato. Into the gravy goes the cut up tomato. This is about 2 medium tomatoes. Actually, because we had a really large tomato, we got about a tomato and a half in here. And you want to add into this, oh, that smells delicious. Do you smell it? You want to crack a little salt. And just a little dash of your white pepper. Because white pepper is strong stuff, guys, and you don't use as much white pepper as you do black pepper, because white pepper will, to put it nicely, it'll curl your nose hairs. So, anyway, you end up with something that looks a little like this. It's basically a pan gravy. Now, you're going to pour that all over your meat. Get as much as you can out of there. Oh my, that looks delicious already. Try to cover as much of the meat as you can with it. Oh, hi. Anyway, the oven is now preheated. Again, it goes in 325 for about 35 to 40 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to be making the cornbread that we're going to have along with this. So, let me get this in the oven. Wow, that's hot. There. And we'll set the timer, we'll clean up, and when this comes out of the oven, we'll show you what it looks like. See you then. Okay, folks, the timer's gone off. Now we're going to get this stuff out of the oven, and you can see what it looks like. It smells. Oh my goodness, it smells good. Oh, look at all that juice. Oh my goodness. I'm going to pick the camera up and get a little close-up shot. Look at that. That's what your steak rolls will look like when they come out of the oven. Gravy and juice, and they didn't shrivel up and die. So anyway, that's it for this recipe. Let me get down here. That's it for this recipe. So if you decide to make this, go ahead and enjoy it. If it tastes like it smells, this is going to be off the charts. While I have your attention, we won't be doing a video next week. Next week, the 16th, is our 30th anniversary, and on Friday, the 19th, is Judy's birthday. So we're going to be eating out a little bit next week. And really good news, I'm going back to work Monday. Yes. So, anyway, thanks for coming along for the ride. I hope you enjoy your evening, and we'll see you when we see you.